The movie begins in ancient Rome. Lucius, an architect, is struggling financially and to come up with new innovations. The clients believe that his innovations are out of date and rejects every idea he comes up with. One afternoon, Lucius's friend takes him to a public bathhouse to relax, but the bathhouse is full of crowded and naked people. Lucius believes it is the worst place to unwind. He is overwhelmed by the environment, so he goes underwater and stays there for a while. On the other side of the tub, he notices a small whirlpool forming. He goes to investigate but gets sucked in by a strong current. Lucius finds himself in a tunnel-like environment, struggling to breathe. He makes every effort to surface and in the end succeeds. But to his surprise, he discovers that he has left the Roman bathhouse and traveled into a Japanese contemporary bathhouse. The bathhouse is full of elderly guys who are shocked to see him standing in front of them. He has somehow time traveled and arrived in 2012 Japan. Lucius concludes that the men are members of a flat-faced tribe because he has never seen someone like them. After getting past his initial shock, Lucius realizes that this bathhouse is far more modern than any other he has ever seen. He is amazed by the baskets, taps, and massaging apparatus and regrets not coming up with these ideas earlier. Additionally, he enters the women's restroom by mistake and is knocked out by a yelling elderly woman. Mommy, a struggling manga artist, is presented to us. She begins to draw him since she gets an idea for a new character from the way he looks. After some time, Lucius wakes up and receives a bottle of milk with flavoring. His confusion at its bittersweet flavor continues. In fact, it is so excellent that it causes him to lose consciousness once more. He finds himself back in Rome, surrounded by the people. They claim that he drowned in the bathtub and was discovered a few minutes earlier. 2 months later, the proprietor of the baths was informed of Lucius' plan for reconstruction, which he encouraged. He is praised for his originality and benefits financially from it. They now accentuate their bathhouse experience with baskets, massage booths, and even sweet milk. An elderly man laments the lack of a bathroom at home while he soaks in the tub. In the 21st century, Lucius is once more pulled by a current and taken to a bathtub as he considers how to make it possible. When a man enters, he begs Lucius to assist him with his bath. Though bewildered, Lucius follows instructions and learns about numerous more handy items, including a shower head and a shower hat. Coincidentally, Mommy, who lives in the house, finds Lucius on the floor. She rushes to get her sketchbook, but when she returns, Lucius has already disappeared again. Back in Rome, Lucius makes the elderly man a bathtub for his home and makes a fortune. Finally having enough to offer his wife, he finds that she's still unsatisfied. She says that she wants to have some pleasure at night, but Lucius is always busy working. She curses him and rushes away when he tells her he needs to work at night. A messenger approaches Lucius a short while later. The man is renowned for his cruelty because reports contend that he assassinated his rivals in the cabinet. Even the emperor is showing interest in Lucius as a result of the buzz surrounding his inventions. When he first meets Lucius, he admits that he loves art, and what Lucius has done with the public baths is unmistakably an example of it. The emperor requests him to create a private bath for himself after being impressed by his work. He wanders about the town all night hunting for ideas for a luxurious bathhouse, but comes up empty-handed. He feels ashamed that all of his concepts are copied, which he should not receive credit for. He disappears instantly after falling into a ditch. Mommy is shown working in a bathroom supplies business in a current-day scene. She took a second job because her manga artist career is struggling. She finds it difficult to stay awake at work. One afternoon, she mistakenly leaves the water running, overflowing the tub. Lucius suddenly appears in the bathtub and begins gasping wildly when he notices the tub is bubbling on its own. he stops. Mommy and Lucius have time to mingle while the shop manager goes to report about the weird man. After giving her a penny, Lucius asks her to show him the building so that he could know more about modern architecture. Mommy guides him around even though she doesn't speak the language. Lucius is fascinated by the urinals and believes that printed toilet paper contains the secret of the flat-faced tribe's success. A bidet, though, captures his attention the most. He feels as though he is in heaven while he is on it. He returns to Rome and constructs the greatest bathhouse ever for the emperor. It has a toilet that continuously flushes water to clean one's behind, and a bathtub filled with bubbles created by slaves blowing air via a pipe, a glowing aquarium, and fragrant candles. He surpasses the emperor's expectations and receives a unique necklace as a reward. While returning home to show his wife the accomplishment, Lucius discovers his best friend is making out with his wife. In 2012, Mommy is returning to her little hometown after continuously failing to come up with creative manga ideas and being fired from her side jobs. She commences studying ancient Roman history. She is curious about Lucius because of the coin she received from him and his absence, and she desperately wants to know if he is really a person from the past. After his wife fled with his best friend, Lucius has lost all desire to live. A messenger who is concerned about the emperor approaches him one day. The monarch apparently believes that a crocodile is his reincarnation because he recently lost his son. He asks Lucius to provide a location where the crocodile can be kept. Lucius needs to take special care with this one, since if the animal dies, he will be held responsible and be labeled a national criminal. Later, Lucius is dragged into the future for a third time. When he steps outdoors, he discovers that he is being held captive by crocodiles. It turns out that he is actually in a crocodile refuge. Mommy is also present at the sanctuary, but she's there on a date that she doesn't care for. She makes every effort to get rid of him. But when she sees Lucius in the cage, she is relieved. Forgetting about her date, she drags him out and shows him the sanctuary. Lucius gains knowledge on caring for crocodiles and their ideal environment. In order to verify that if he truly is a Roman man, Mommy takes him to practice archery. He strikes every target, confirming her suspicion. Later, he finds himself in a hot spring that transports him back in time. The emperor now receives the ideal location to breed his crocodile son. Lucius is now routinely invited to the palace, and the emperor now even started to treat him like family, up until the emperor learns that the rebels are attacking his forces. They seek to overthrow the king at any cost, because they are unhappy with his authority. The rebels and the emperor's army engage in a battle that lasts for more than a year. The emperor is now old and ready to retire. He intends to pass the throne to his nephew Sionius, but Lucius has a difficulty with this, since Sionius, who is prideful and greedy, does not share his ideals. Lucius is aware that the Roman Empire will fall if he becomes emperor. He, therefore, approaches Sionius and tells him that he will not be working for him. Lucius refuses to listen even when Sionius warns him that defying the emperor is treason and carries a death sentence. He approaches another architect and tells him to work for him, but the man hates Lucius for being the cause of his financial crisis. They get into a fight and Lucius falls into a well. He is back with the flat-faced tribe in the subsequent scene. Despite his injuries, they are treating him like one of their own. They took him to a hot spring so he may relax and recharge. The legend says that taking a bath in spring water might hasten a person's recovery. Lucius again meets Mommy, who has picked up some fundamental Latin. She hugs him, but Lucius falls into the lake. To Mommy's shock, when they awake, they are in Rome. Mommy learns that Lucius is sentenced to death since he disobeyed the emperor's order. She persuades him to accept the assignment, but Lucius gathers his belongings to run away and save his life. When the group of elderly guys search for Mommy, they fell into the lake and gets trapped in a whirlpool, which sends them to the past. On his trip to another city, Lucius stumbles upon a natural hot spring on a hill. He remembers the flat-faced tribe's treatment, and he understands that the spring can help heal the Emperor's injured soldiers. He quickly runs to Mommy to share his proposal, which she concurs. Lucius tells the Emperor about his plan and asserts that Antonius has given him instructions on how to construct the spring. Antonius is another potential heir to the throne who is significantly more qualified than Sionius. Lucius wants to enhance his image look better in the Emperor's eyes. Lucius, Mommy, and the flat-faced tribe begin working on the spring after being given permission to do so. They construct the first hut during the following few hours. Over time, a large number of homes are constructed all around the spring, serving as a military rest area. The tribe helps the injured and aids them in their fast recovery. They also use their knowledge of making modern medicine to do this. A few months later, the military defeats all the rebels. They dance and drink to celebrate their victory. Mommy and Lucius spend a considerable amount of time talking in private. Over the time past, they have grown close and have emotions for each other, up until the flat-faced tribe and Mommy mysteriously vanishes. Lucius feels he is the happiest man ever lived. In the scene that follows, the Emperor appoints Antonius as his advisor, and Lucius receives recognition for his bravery throughout the conflict. They acknowledge that they would have never succeeded without him, and the film comes to a close.